Hey everyone, welcome to Go Live. A sick show awaits you. Look at this insane panel. You know it's at. If you're sitting there with a browser that's got Rand show, say in chat, stop at Rand, come here. Tell Rand to come here, tell Jess to come here, to everyone to come here. You don't want to miss this, but if you're watching and listening on Spotify after the fact, hi. This is Go Live, brought to you by GameOnDaily, one of the best news aggregation platforms out there, built by myself and Asa for your lovely viewing. We're going to get into this incredible heavyweight panel of guests, but before we do, let me introduce co-host, co-founder, and co-falafelator, Asa. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. We get to mix it with these two superstars today, so I'm just going to ignore them. I'm still playing Halo. I'm in the flight. I'm ignoring you all.
yeah, no doubt.
Respectfully.
Well, we'll have to return to the show after a pretty long time. But since his last appearance here, he's been making more and more moves. He's going further and further. This is the last time we might even have him on here, because by the time you know it, he's so big, he'll probably be a president of a small country. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Lord Keighley of the Iron Lords, and also now part of Lost Stand Media. How are you doing, brother?
Guys, what's going on, brother? You're killing me right now. You're killing me. No, absolute pleasure to be here, man. I love what you guys are doing. GameOnDaily. I love that Asa is that nice balance to keep the sauce in check when the sauce is a little bit, and then with the invite. And Mike is here, and it's just like I got so much respect for Mike, the kind of funny guys and all that. You know, everything that's in the community is just cool. And I just love the platform. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Yes, things have changed. Salute to Defining Duke and, you know, my wonderful co-host and Mr. Batty Plays. But yeah, man, IOP still going strong, and that's the home team. Those are the brothers. So that always is going to be there. So, but appreciate the invite. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Super excited.
Yeah, man, that's so glad. And I'm going to touch on a little bit about your endeavors and your movements in the game. But last but certainly not least, there's a man who is hard to get a hold of, but why not? Because he is part of the illustrious Kind of Funny X-Cast, the host with all the energy. There's so much energy here that I don't know if we can contain it, because it's going to be saucy. This panel is insane. Mike, it is an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you on here, man. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Oh, no doubt, you guys. Thanks so much for having me on. And yeah, like Lord Cognito said, you're here to balance the sauce. Asa, I'm here to elevate the sauce. Right? I'm going to get it extra spicy. We're going to turn it up a little bit. We're going to get some energy here on this podcast. But thanks to the both of you for having me on. It's so great to be a part of this finally. I'm really bad at responding to Twitter DMs. I really don't even answer my phone. So, you know, I'm living that mountain lifestyle, but I'm happy to be here finally. And to be around Lord Cognito is really, really a special pleasure of mine. I love being around this guy. So a great panel. Excited to talk some video games with you too.
No, absolutely, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And he is very hard to get a hold of on his DMs. He's like, you're so nice. Sure. You're like, Gaz, I love your show. I can't wait to come on. That was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was. It's true. It was.
I'm still waiting. I'm shooting my shot. I'm still waiting for IOP Mike appearance. Don't get me wrong. It's a busy man. It's a busy man.
It's like Mike, but the thing that puts you off is Mike's like, I'm 100% down. Like, yes, Mike.
Nah, he's busy, man.
Mike.
He's busy. Mike.
Mike.
That's the whole. Mike's still a homie.
Honestly. I love it. Mike, we have to, because this is your debut to the show. And we always ask our new guests, what brought them into gaming, with this gaming space as a content creator? Can you just give us, our viewers who may not know who you are, a little bit about yourself and your little niche that you've carved out here?
Okay. Well, let's have a little fun. Let's make a story right now. What's going on, everybody? It's your guy Snowbike Mike coming to you live from beautiful Lake Tahoe, California. And I jumped into the gaming space back in 2015 thanks to TwitchCon. Actually, the first ever TwitchCon was held down in the Bay Area. And I remember I had been using Twitch for about a year because of Kinda Funny, actually. You know, Greg, Colin, Tim, and Nick had left their jobs at IGN, and I was a big fan of Podcast Beyond, big fan of Podcast Unlocked. And so I was like, hey, you know what? I'll see what these guys are doing. And after a full year, I really enjoyed what they were doing with the morning show and with their different podcasts, from the Kinda Funny podcast and Conversation with Colin. So I was like, you know what? I'll follow them over, see what they're doing. And I really enjoyed everything they did. And so in 2015, I met them at TwitchCon, and it was a really eye-opening experience to go down to a large gaming convention, my first one I've ever been to, and see so many different age groups and different gamers just having a good time and interacting with one another. I remember we went to the Kinda Funny panel, and I looked at my girlfriend at the time, and I said, I could do that. Like, I want to do this, you know? And she's like, well, what's holding you back? And we literally jumped in the car and made a Twitch account right that day. We ordered up the, the camera for the webcam, and bang, that day I was streaming the next night. And from that point forward, I streamed 3 nights a week into 7 nights a week and onward, to the point where I was receiving hosting gigs for different shoutcasting events, from 2K to Call of Duty to Apex. We had a lot of fun with, and got the call from Kinda Funny to come over and host one of their big live events. I'm actually one of 4 ever live hosts that they've ever had. Xavier Woods, Troy Baker, our guy, the one, the only Bernie Burns, and of course me. So, you know, it's a pretty illustrious crew that I somehow got entangled with right there. And that elevated everything for me. Got an opportunity to join the team with the Kinda Funny XCast, thanks to Gary Whitta and Alana Pierce. And from that point forward, it's been a blast. I got pulled on full time in January to that team. So I host their live gaming content each and every weekday after Games Daily. We do a live stream, we play games, we hang out. And then me, Paris, and Gary sit down to talk Xbox every single Friday. So that's been the run. That's been it.
That's mad. That started off with self-belief in yourself, because that was a conversation you had with your girlfriend at the time. And said, I can do this. And that really is a message for a lot of viewers out there who may feel like they can't do this, or they can't get in the gaming space, because this is what GameOnDaily is about. Really, it's about empowering content creators. Take it from Mike, and look at the lofty station he now inhabits because of self-belief. It's there. He was there at the show, and he believed in himself. So, Mike, that's really good. That's very positive of you, and well done for your journey, man.
Hey, thank you so much. And yeah, I just want to double on that. That's really well said. It's like, believe in yourself and don't be afraid to try. Step out of your bubble, right? I'm coming from a guy who worked in the food and beverage industry for 13 years. I had one and only job from 18 all the way to 30. And I loved that job. I didn't like cooking at all, but I made it the best of it. And I remember I played video games every single day, and I said, why not try, right? And so step out of your bubble, try. Don't be afraid to fail, and have fun with it. And so whenever people come into my Twitch chat and they say, hey, how do I do this? It's like, turn on the camera, look right at it, smile, and play the games that you love. And there you go.
Boom. That's right there, ladies and gentlemen. And that's how it does start. So please believe in yourself. People put mental barriers in there, think that you have to do something. We started off this time last year, maybe a couple of months before that. We had 3 viewers. So like average of the first 3 shows. So you start off somewhere. But yeah, and another gentleman who is a shining beacon of that kind of work ethic, who is ridiculous in terms of how much he has, you know, I don't know why I'm speaking in third person about you, Cog. You're right here. But you have done that, and you've reached lofty goals, and I'm so proud. Like, I see what you do with Lost End Media. I'm the guy liking all the comments, like, Cog is the one bringing the fire into the show with you and Matty Plays. Both of you are doing great synergy. I did want to touch base on, because our time is bad. Every time I jump into your party chat, you just cut. It's like, it's too late.
You know, if I see it, if I see you in UK time, I'm on too late playing Xbox.
Yeah. The same thing when I join Rand and Cold's party. They're like, oh, we're quite late now. What time is it? Then Gaz is awake. But you guys do stay up late. But I want to ask you, Cog, that you've joined Lost Stand Media, which is a great bunch of guys there. You had their in-person event. You got your fans. People want your autograph. You might have I don't know, groupies. What's going on with Lost End Media? Tell me.
Look, man,
What is that journey like so far?
it's been tremendous. It's been tremendous. And again, very humbled. Obviously, ILP is the foundation of everything. And, before I did anything, I got to speak to my brothers and make sure everyone is okay with everything. And yeah, it was an opportunity. Shout out to Mr. Matty Plays, man. I'm still truly humbled and pinch myself sometimes because he told me from the very beginning, shout out to also ACG. I'll be remiss if I didn't shout him out. That's my homie. That's my friend. He had things going on. So at the time, Defining Duke was looking for a co-host. So to me, it was one of those situations that I didn't even consider myself, weirdly. I just okay, they already have probably who they have in mind, so I'm not going to throw my name, in the hat, my ring in the hat, so to speak. So, I just left alone, and I got the message. I got the message from Maddie, and he's just like, hey, man, you want to do this, kind of thing. So it was super humbling, very emotional, because at the end of the day, I've been doing it for a while, and I'm an older gentleman, so I wasn't doing the videos, all that stuff.
Don't look it.
Well, black don't crack, baby. But at the end of the day, I've been doing it for a while, and one thing about me, the two things I love the most is always going to the events, like I said, the E3s, the PAX, interviewing developers. That's probably like my first passion, and then second is podcasting. And again, I'll be remiss if I didn't shout out Addict. He's the one that kind of pushed me to the space and say, hey, people like what you got to say about so and so and so, and I kind of got my feet wet. But yeah, again, shooting with Maddie and then meeting the team, everyone has been amazing. Shout out to Colin, shout out to everybody, Dustin, the mayor, Ben Smith. We did the live event. It was really fun. I've never done anything like that before, and it was just really cool, really humbling to see gamers come to an event again and just show how much they're passionate about your content and what we're doing. And like I was telling us, before we went live, it's truly cool to see. Obviously, we're the Xbox podcast on, there with Defining Duke, but it's truly cool to see people come up and say, hey, because of what you're doing, I am now interested in the Xbox ecosystem, or because of this. And I'll ask them questions. Hey, like, what got you in? What, some people would say that Bethesda acquisition was big, that you start to hear. It's cool to hear. That's why I got to plug my little hashtag Just One, because remember, I'm the leader of the hashtag Just One movement. It's cool to hear people on the other side who wasn't part of the Xbox ecosystem last gen now get interested, and because of the acquisition and because of those styles of games are things that are excited about. But yeah, man, it's been a fun ride, man. Still working hard, still going at it, man. But thank you guys for that.
That's wicked, man. No, that's good. And you're the Xbox Trojan horse, converting people to Xbox and the Last Stand Media crew. I like it. I like it a lot. But it's really good to see you guys. And shout out to all the Last Stand Media crew, Colin and Dustin Furman, the Shadow Broker. He is a G. I like him a lot. Shout out to them. Thank you, James, for sharing your progress and your history so far. I want to swim straight into source with these topics because this has been quite an eventful week for gaming news. We had some gaming lull, and then bam, on a Thursday, some major news drops. So I was at the face of a lot of controversial takes. You think I'm gonna stop changing and try to appease people? Nah, I want to get the guests though. This is not about what I think. It's also, I'm quite intrigued to get Ace's thoughts on it. But if he disagrees with me, just know he's wrong. I want to get your thoughts on this. Mike, have you followed this? Well, I know you have, but this news about the initiative is now partnering with Crystal Dynamics on Perfect Dark to work on that title. Now that got announced left field on a Thursday, and there were two distinct camps in terms of their reaction to the news. So it was one camp, which was my camp, let's be honest, which was, I'm a bit skeptical here, because they, in their statement, say the teams couldn't pass the chance to work together, blah, blah, blah. We're still early in development. And I just read that, and a bit of me internally started bleeding, because I was like, I know it's 2018 you set up this studio, but you have to give us a little bit more. And also, why Crystal Dynamics? This is a bit weird. The other camp, though, much more positive, said, hold on, this is great news because there's a lot of synergy between the personalities in the initiative, particularly the lead and that team, and Crystal Dynamics do great work. And this is surely great news and common sense for a 70-man studio. Mike, which one of those sides do you fit in? Please bring the sauce.
Let's bring the sauce. After sitting on it for quite some time, we'll see if this gets truly saucy. But at first on Thursday night, I was in your camp, right? It was a head scratcher.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, what is going on over with this team? I thought this was billed as a quote unquote quadruple A studio. I know everybody's throwing that around, even though it's a triple A. Yes, we know it was just some sort of job posting error. But truly and honestly, you look at it, right? And this is one of the first times Xbox has created their own studios within their portfolio. One of the most recent, they were acquiring teams, but now they created it. And there was a lot of energy going into that. We were excited. We were hoping for something that would compete on the blockbuster scale of all those Sony games. And so on Thursday, you say, hey, this studio is now teamed up with Crystal Dynamics. And you're like, wait, isn't that the team that made Marvel's Avengers? Hell no, I don't want that, right? Hell no, I don't want that. But of course, you listen to the takes, you take some time, you sip a little tea and relax. And I'll tell you, by 24 hours later, when we recorded on the Kind of Funny Xcast, I was very positive on this. I'm really excited, right? I think this is something Xbox has been at the forefront of for the past couple of years, where they've been really promoting the synergy within teams, right? We know that a number of Microsoft studios in this large portfolio are working together, sharing ideas, sharing development tips. And that's really cool to see. That's exciting to see. And so now we're breaking out of that first party studio. And this could be a really cool little match made in heaven. We know Daryl Gallagher's got a lot of ties to Crystal Dynamics in the team there.
Yeah.
I love what they did with Tomb Raider. I know we'll bring that up. And so I'm actually all on board with that, right? Tomb Raider, a large, strong female hero. You talk about some beautiful, awesome worlds, some cataclysmic, gigantic moments within the game. This could be, and this should be, a really great match made in heaven. So I'm excited about it now. I'm on that camp now.
Okay, good shifting there, but had a time to sit down, mull things over, and now have a measured approach to it. A little more they can say for myself. But Cog, tell me, be honest. Okay, I know the numbers. I know the Xbox community can be a bit rabid now. They've been emboldened by the successes of Xbox. But tell me, what was your initial reaction to this news, and what do you think now about it?
Yeah, I think Mike said it best. It was not doom and gloom. It was just puzzling for me. I was like, okay, I've never seen this before. I was trying to get back and say, okay, have there been examples of a new studio where their first project, right, they initially announced and that they're going to be partnering with Crystal Dynamics or another studio. So the first thing I said, okay, let me see what's going on here. Let me do my research on that aspect. And I understand the skepticism. I do. I truly understand initially. But like Mike said, I took some time and I thought about it and I said, okay, who's the head of initiative? And we all know, Daryl Gallagher. And this is a man with tremendous relationships, Activision, Square, and Crystal Dynamics. He has a lot of people that he knows in that other building, right? And the way I looked at it is, I know the words that I know where you at, Gaz, with the sauce. I know you see the quadruple A and you like, nah, fam, what's going on? I know, but here's the thing. We got to be real. Microsoft never put that out. That was actually in a job post. That's like HR on LinkedIn, right? And they're trying to entice people to a job, HR, right? But if you look at initiative publicly, when they speak to Gallagher, they speak to the team, they say, hey, we're going to be small, we're going to be nimble, we're going to be agile, right? That's the verbiage they've used publicly, right? So when I see that's in contrast to the HR thing that got snatched. And I get it. Yeah. So my whole thing is this, before I go doom and gloom, first we have to see how this game actually ends up, right? But I think it's a positive thing. I think that at the end of the day, to have people that you're going to outsource, which is a common practice. Like a lot of the biggest games do outsource, Last of Us 2, you name it, it goes on. Nintendo, everyone does it on some level. The key now is going to be that no one, in my opinion, is asking is the Square Enix side. Because at the end of the day, how is Crystal Dynamics, who is under Square, just available to be working, right? So to me, again, I don't know anything. This is Cog assumption time. Cog, please, Cog is assuming, right? I look at it and I go, if I'm a contract, I have nothing to do, and then all of a sudden they're putting me with another company to make a game that, yes, but we do have relationships with, and everyone knows everybody. To me, that speaks to Square Enix and what's going on internally with them, that they took a bag from Microsoft to have them work over there. That's how I look at it. But it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens after Perfect Dark is completed with Crystal Dynamics.
Let me add a little spice into that one really quick. I'll let you know what Crystal Dynamics is doing over there. Absolutely nothing, Lord Cognito, okay? They promised us Spider-Man. There is no Spider-Man. We've been going on. We started a blood feud from the Xbox and PlayStation side 2 years ago over Spider-Man, if everybody remembers that. And we were promised War for Wakanda. That took 6 extra months. They're not doing anything, Lord Cognito. They need something to do. There's a little spice for you. You're going to have a little spice.
There's the spice. But clearly, they need something to do. I just think it's interesting that, because listen, the last point I'll let Asa go. It's just that I feel it's like in business, right? These guys know each other, right? They know each other. So it's like, if you're Daryl and you have connections over there and you happen to know that there's nothing going on with Crystal Dynamics over there, and who's to say that, the initiative, that's not the way they're going to move forward. You know what I'm saying? As far as with the way they have, like maybe they create a vision, right? And then once they have a vision in place, then they get people in to execute. You know what I'm saying? But it is going to be interesting to me, because Square, to me now, let's be honest, and Mike is completely 100% right. Avengers was not, obviously they put a lot of money into that. They thought that was going to be a big thing, right? And we've seen this situation with Square, I believe with IO Interactive in the first initial Hitman games. Like, they have these big grandiose plans of what they think these games are going to do, then they don't do it, and now this team is sitting there. And I just find it very interesting that they were available to just be pushed and worked over there. But we'll see what happens. But I'm curious about Asa. Asa's going to see if he's going to bring the level to the sauce down a little bit.
Mitigate the source. Well, Asa, I don't want to give you free reign to completely sensitize and make sure do what you do best, which is inform us very well, but then end it decisively because you know the knowledge behind it. But let me lead a little bit here, Asa. I actually have no idea what Asa thinks, by the way, because Asa has one text responses to anything I ask him. He just says, "Yep." David Scott Jaffe. I'm a big fan of him. He says this is a bit strange because the vast majority of... Because a lot of people were saying, well, hold on, this is unusual, which it is. But then people drew attention to the fact that outsourcing is completely normal. But David Jaffe said, don't see this as outsourcing because this doesn't seem like it's outsourcing. And in any way, he says... But they outsource to outsource houses, not established devs owned by other publishers. And then he also says, and he's completely correct here, these were press releases from both studios that alluded to a collaboration, not this kind of outsourcing. It doesn't sound like outsourcing. And that's where I want to get your view on it. Because to me, and why... I'm generally not trying to say it's doom and gloom. I'm still pissed that this is delayed. Not delayed. Sorry, it's not delayed. It's early in development. You've shown someone holding a controller. Phil Spencer's playing something, and everyone's defending this. Like, what was he playing? Wireframe the game. Like, why would you show that? You got your kid playing something, and then you say it's still early in development. There's no transparency. Some people think they're so transparent making this announcement. How's that transparency? You're making this announcement that you're collaborating with the studio. It's not transparency, man. Oh man, I'm sorry. It's pissing me off because a lot of people are so quick to defend that, but not ask questions. So my question to you, Asa, after and I always make these long bloody segues to asking you, but I want to extract the juice out of you, sauce out of you. The juice is temporary, sauce is permanent. What
You're
is
so
Crystal
good.
Dynamics contributing? What are they doing the design work? And are they doing any? So what are they doing, man? Asa, what's your take on it, man? Before I lose my shit.
I guess like if this was a written exam, I'd have to squeeze notes in the margin and just like flick through the question. What's going on here? I don't know. David Geoff is absolutely right. Like this is not normal outsourcing. It's something fairly unprecedented, something that you don't see anywhere else. Like a major studio working with a major studio, and Cognito touched on the bit that's weird here is that they're owned by another publisher.
Yeah.
And that whole relationship, I don't care that their ex-boss has moved across. They're not the ones making that decision. This is between Xbox and Square Enix. There's some weird conversations there, and Cognito's absolutely right on that. For me, in terms of the game, when the news broke, I did my usual. I sat at home in my dressing gown with my bubble pipe, and I raised an eyebrow. I went, oh. It's like it's
Sherlock Holmes.
Meme I'm gonna make right now.
Let's go.
But like you said, you already know. You said on Twitter, like I'm a big fan of Crystal Dynamics. I think they're an incredible studio, and I've said for a while that Crystal Dynamics are the only studio outside of Sony that have proven they can make a Sony game.
Yes.
Wow.
They fit the hashtag just one. They fit the template.
Yeah, and like,
You're just unlucky Cog is not third person, eh?
I know that's the only thing, but what they do, yeah, absolutely.
Is that, yeah.
And there are no other studios that you could say that about to that degree, to the way that they rebooted Tomb Raider. I know Marvel's Avengers is a little bit more divisive, but even then, a lot of people like that campaign as well. And technically, it was on another level.
Yes.
It's one of the best looking games.
Preach.
The entirety of the last generation of hardware. So if you wanted to pick a partner and you were picking a dream team for it, fantastic choice. How they've managed to make this happen. I mean, Marvel's Avengers cost Square Enix something like $63 million or something. So I don't know how they're handling this, whether they're trying to like pretend that it's not their own fault. And we all know that's Square Enix's fault more than Crystal Dynamics' fault, right? But there's probably some finger pointing, there's probably some animosity or not entirely like happy relationships there between everybody, but this still is happening, and I'm looking forward to Perfect Dark more now than I was before.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
No, what you said. I just want to jump in if you don't mind, guys. No, I think
of course.
That's the thing. Look, you guys, you're absolutely right in terms of it is okay to be skeptical and question when something looks different and out of the norm. You know I'm with you, brother. I'm never gonna, not allow people to come at you with that aspect, because I think that's right. That was my initial thing. Like, I'd never seen this before. I think I want to speak again to what Asa was saying, in the sense that, like, to me, I think it's a bigger thing at play, because at the end of the day, regardless of what happens with Perfect Dark, and we hope this is a great game, right? Regardless of what.
It has to be.
It has to be for sure. A lot of A's involved. But at the end of the day, we have to look at, okay, the Crystal Dynamics availability and what that means, and Square's willingness to allow this outsourcing to happen. Because the reality is, we don't see that normally. That's the part we don't really see. Like, there's other small little development studios and houses that people can pull from, but to get from this established that's already under someone's umbrella is, to me, so interesting. So I'm curious is what the aftermath happens if this is, once this is completed. That to me is going to be key, moving forward. But it's a very interesting thing to chart for sure.
Yeah, Mike, this is weird. This is unprecedented. And every time Cog mentions the after the fact thing, I guess we're spoiled by this whole narrative of acquisitions.
Let's get it.
Is the acquisition season at the end of Perfect Dark's release? Is this this is okay? I know you were initially skeptical like me, and then you've seen the light. But let me bring you to the dark side a little bit more here on this one. Do you think, I know gamers seem really entitled, but are we allowed to ask? Because a lot of people are saying this, and this really annoyed me. Not annoyed me, it didn't actually annoy me, but I was just like, wait, hold on, confused me. Where are you getting this from? Maybe they have the sources. People are saying, hold on, this studio, Crystal Dynamics have come in to do the grunt work because the initiative has completed their vision of the game. Drew Murray completed the direction, design work, and the vision for what Perfect Dark will be. now these guys are giving the impression that they're doing the grunt work. They're just sitting there churning out and building the game. But we don't know that. Why are people saying that? How do we know that whatever vision that exists for Perfect Dark isn't still up for play? And this collaboration could really change that. Because that Drew Murray, that was, for me, it was massive alert. Like, hold on. I don't know. People were like damage controlling it and then say, you know, they had a bereavement in his family, which is the reason why he left. But then boom, he joins Insomniac. I'm like, what? Something is a bit amiss there. And I'm worried about Perfect Dark. If the vision isn't intact and everyone seems to pretend that they know. Tell me, Snow Bike Mike, am I wrong in being skeptical?
No, you're not. You're not wrong in being skeptical. I think this is the fun part about what we do here on the podcast and the games industry stuff, right? It's like, this is all assumptions, right? Unless you have actual sources that none of us know about, right? Or you're not going to share that and really dive deep into it. All of us are just assuming. As of right now, we don't know what this partnership is, right? We're 24 hours after the announcement on Twitter with 248 characters. We don't know what they'll be doing, whether they are doing all of the development work. Maybe they're doing the story. Maybe they're building some sort of multiplayer that we don't know about that Perfect Dark is known for, right? And you look forward, and we're all just assuming. So I think that's where it comes down to is there's numbers been thrown around between 60 and 80 employees, right? And you go, okay, well, a team that size, what does that mean? And I think it's easy to assume like, doesn't it take hundreds upon thousands of employees to make these games and develop these games? I have to assume that Crystal Dynamics is doing that. So I think that's the easy jump to conclusions over there. And that's probably what a lot of people are doing. You get the clicks, you get the conversation rolling. But it's funny you bring up acquisition season, you bring up what is the future. And that's when we talked about with Paris and Gary on the Kind of Funny Xcast of like, this is game number 1. And the tagline of this team is to be small and agile. Well, what does game number 2 look like? Are we going to hire up for this studio? Are we going to do this again with a Microsoft first-party developer? Are we going to go out and third-party this again? So it is really interesting to think of what is the future. And I actually want to take another moment and talk about what you just talked about. It's like, what is the vision? What's that integrity? Because like you said, in 2018, we started this. All of a sudden, Phil, like a year or two later, said, I've gone hands-on with this, right? And you're like, okay, does that mean we're moving for this? And now you see this announcement. And to me, my jump to assumptions was, we're just restarting now, right? I have no idea what's happening. This is going to be a 2025 game in my mind. Do they already have the story and this team is just going to help them with the engine and the build out? Or are we just here at ground zero? So for me, I am a little worried about timing wise, and it puts it much farther than I thought. I thought we were 23, 24 at the latest. Now we're 25 onward for me.
25 onwards, 100% 25 onwards. And because you're right, though, it sounds like they've only just started. That might not be the case, but we don't know that.
Right.
And Phil Spencer, so this is what annoyed me. Like, you know what you're doing when you're sharing pictures of Phil Spencer playing it. What the hell was he playing? What was he playing, man? You gave the impression that because you put that out there, things are developing. So Phil Spencer also quite tactfully, he's Phil Spencer. Oh, you gotta love Phil. Said, and this is his quote, and great, and maybe there's a reason behind it. I'm not saying that he's wrong or he's being clever. Well, he's been clever. He's saying, great to see continued momentum and progress on Perfect Dark. Thrilled to have Crystal Dynamics partnering with the initiative. That tweet was designed with 5 other people around him and saying, let's word that. Continued momentum, because that's quite important to relay. They dropped that news on a Thursday. You don't drop that positive news on Thursday, Cog.
Lying that this news dropped on the end of the week, sir.
Cog, come on.
That's a fun one, Cog. We talked about that on the Xcast of like Gary and Paris taught me. He's like, you got bad news to share. You share it on a afternoon on a Friday because we're going into the weekend. And it's one of those as well. Another one that Gary and Paris has always talked about is like, this could have been and should have been an Xbox Wire blog post. Somebody should have got ahead of this and really shared more of the story, because now with only 4 tweets total out about this, we all assume, we all talk about it, we all just guess what's happening. When if this is a cool partnership, if this is really something to share, this should have been a blog post. This should have been a mini YouTube video. It's very odd that it's just 4 tweets only? That's the question there.
I think, yeah, look, valid points. I can't really argue a lot of things you guys are saying, and I totally understand the other side of this argument. That's what makes this so intriguing, right? It's just so cool to talk about. I think for me, what I still find strange is, again, I get the bad news cycle, the media cycle, end of the week. I get that. The only thing I find very interesting, right, is that the public facing tweet with the logos as if they are proud to tell you about this information, right? That to me was different. I was like, okay, I've never seen this before, because again, that's something you may find out at the credit of the end of a game. This is not something you generally hear, like, yo, we're co-developing, or this team's coming in, third party to partner. And I do understand the skepticism. The last point I'll say is game development and how the industry is changing. And I know sometimes as gamers and with podcasters, we are accustomed to the old way or one way of doing and seeing things as far as game developers work. And the only thing I can think of, again, I know nothing, Cog does not know anything, is I'm speculating. It's just that at the end of the day, that maybe with the way the initiative is structured, this may be what, like Mike beautifully said, like what happens with game number 2, right? Game number 3, is that the new workflow, so to speak, right? Where you have Gallagher, this small team, they construct the vision, they let out the template, and then they get another team to execute the vision. And that's fine if that's the case. But to your guys' point, you know, there was confusion initially on what this studio was to be. So there are a lot of assumptions when you saw the extra A and all this other stuff, regardless if they didn't put that out there themselves. You know, that's where I think some of the confusion lies with the messaging. And we got to see with game 2. We got to see with game 3, and also obviously how this game executes. But it's a very interesting thing to watch. I've loved this. I couldn't wait. This is one of those ones I was like, I am looking forward to the source. This is a great
and it
topic,
could go either way. It could go either way. A lot of heat that I was getting on Twitter, and I loved every second of it. Keep bringing it, because it just strengthens my resolve. Asa, I want to talk to you about this point about small and agile. They say in the initiative, say they want to stay small and agile, but this collaboration, does that still mean they're small and agile? When at a certain point you have to say you're not small and agile now, unless you've formed this island and you're here and Crystal Dynamics are partitioned and doing something else that a contractor would do. But this doesn't seem like that.
They're still, I mean, the studio themselves are still not growing through this. They are still small and agile, and who knows how they're going to work with other studios, what they're going to be doing in parallel. We really don't know enough about the setup to say what the answer to that one is. I will say their tweet, a proud tweet about these logos and all the rest of it, and not being an Xbox Wire blog post and not being a YouTube video, and just like doing it relatively quietly on a Thursday. But they definitely put some thought into it, because you can tell they had a conversation like, what do we say about Avengers? We could, we could like not mention it. People might not know it was them.
Oh, sauce. Asa has the sauce. That's true.
Really quick, that's fun you say that, right? Because they didn't mention Avengers on the first one, but then in their own tweet on the second part of it, they said, we look forward to continuing Avengers and Tomb Raider. Does that mean I'm going to get another Tomb Raider game? Because that would be super dope. I would love to continue that saga. Like you said, right? Was one of the best storytelling games since what we've seen from PlayStation side. So I hope that we do return to the Tomb Raider world. I really love those games.
I think it's that. Would you might, early congratulations to Iron Pete 100. Sorry, Gerald Mack. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I got distracted. Did you guys hit 10K?
Close. I think we're about.
Oh, guys, if you're watching it, you probably watch it anyway. Subscribe, retweet that. Just get Iron Lords that need to be at 100K easy, million. I'm not even lying. That it's gonna happen. God willing, it'll happen very quick. So yeah, that's that. Shout out to you. Let me quickly read these super chats, gents. Thank you so much, Hoggy Chan. He's been a massive support of us and a few other shows. Is really grateful. It says, Lord of the intros. Yes, I can never, ever, not that I ever want to. I'm sorry, Cog. I don't care what you say. That must be a massive doing that every time.
It's a lot of work, but I love to do it. I love to do it. I love to
you do it well.
Celebrate you guys. And Ace and Mike are owed some
Owed
intros in the
an
round when
intro.
they finally make their appearances. I got some stuff coming.
Oh, well, this is gonna be wicked, and thank you so much for taking the time to introduce me like that. I was the best intro I've ever got. I'll never get anything like that ever again. Hoggy Channy again. Thank you so much. He goes, Crystal Dynamics / initiative is Xbox organically growing towards an acquisition. There it is. There it is. It's happening. You know what? I will say though, that you're right. What happens after the fact is what you're alluding to that, Cog. This is what happens when you have pre-existing relationships, which is why this collab was impossible in the first place. There's a lot of consolidation happening in the industry. So there might be something happening here. And I don't think it's unreasonable to say that. After all the crap we've heard on acquisition season, surely this is not the most unreasonable thing to say. But
yeah,
I don't know.
acquisition's going to go on for like 3 years. Is anyway. The thing with that though, the thing that's difficult about it is it's not shade at all. Crystal Dynamics though, like if you're Microsoft and you want to acquire that studio, if you're Square Enix and you already own that studio and they just cost you in your eyes $63 million.
Yeah.
Microsoft are going to inflate the value of that studio if this game is good and successful. Yep. So it's a weird one because there's a fair chance. There's a fair chance that Square Enix, without this still happening, Crystal Dynamics might not have got past Avengers. Okay, if you're looking at spreadsheets and going, this studio has cost us this much, and you're talking there about like what are they doing? Well, actually, it's nothing. There's every chance that Crystal Dynamics would have taken the plunge for this.
Cog's like,
talk to him, Mesa. Talk to him. That's how the business works, bro. And then someone. Listen, corporate. I've worked IT in corporate for a lot of years. Like that's how opportunities happen. Because you find out, like, hey man, they let's say I'm Crystal Dynamics. I'm just making up. Hey man, we finished Avengers. It didn't really go good. We're sitting around. They have nothing for us to work on. You call up the homie Daryl, like, yo, what's going on or whatever. Or they just been talking for a long time, right? And it's like, hey, we're doing something here. We think your skill set would match perfectly with our vision and the team. It's all about relationships, guys. And it's not hard to think that what Ace is saying is true, is that, we have to admit, even though we're assuming right now, we know that Avengers had lofty expectations by Square and it did not meet them. And the way this industry works, you're kind of out of there.
Yeah,
you know what
100%.
I mean? You're kind of out of there. You can't survive a bunch of flops, so to speak, or a flop on this level with the Marvel license. That thing was supposed. Look, I'm a Destiny guy. That thing was supposed to be in the Destiny space and a campaign.
Yeah,
it was this mega thing. So it's not far-fetched to me what Ace is saying as far as what's going on with the stability of Crystal Dynamics in their future. So it is interesting to track for sure.
But then if you're in that scenario though, if you're Microsoft or Sony or any other development studio around, you're circling that studio like vultures looking for the talent rather than what's happened here. So I don't know, I guess Square Enix took too long to close it down or make their mind up, and I don't know, deals have happened. So that is the most interesting part of this whole thing, is the Square Enix, Microsoft, Crystal Dynamics triangle. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's definitely a triangle that exists, that timed exclusivity. For example, Tomb Raider Last Generation, that lined their pockets, conversations happened, all that has a massive impact going forward. So watch this space. This might be a lot more positive for Xbox than you think. Or
you're going to be watching this space for a long time though, like another 3 years or so.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We're not giving any assurances. I'm not saying it's happening, because if this is what the internet does, there's like, oh, he's trying to allude to that. I'm not. But also, I'm not gloom and doom. Just want to ask questions. And I have every right to be annoyed. Absolutely. I want to see a perfect dark, man. What was... Show me what Phil Spencer was playing. I dare you, Initiative. If you had the balls to show him holding the controller with people around him and massive smile on his face, his kid is so happy like she's on the MDMA. Show me what they were playing. Show me what they were playing. Because you can't just do that and say, it's still early in development, huh? Slap in my face. Slap in my face. I need to calm down. Alvin, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He goes, the initiative was always listed as a flagship studio, which is why Phil is okay with whatever budget they need to make Game of the Year games, even dropping a bag on Crystal Dynamics instead of a lesser studio. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. The talent within the initiative is contributed to the Quad A. I know what you say, Mike. It's nonsense, the LinkedIn profile. But why Xbox guys so quick to say that now when the whole Quad A title was going ahead? You guys were loving it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I was loving the Quad A. I was like, we got a new thing. We're going big on this. It's going to be the greatest thing ever created, y'all. You won't even know The Last of Us by the time we're done with this one, you know? And then they're like, we're making Perfect Dark. And I was like, oh, shit, y'all. Oh, shit.
You're like, I was there. I ain't gonna front. I'm glad you publicly said it because I was there, too. I was like, oh, y'all making it. Oh, all right, Perfect Dark. Okay, cool. All right.
Okay, we're back to mediocrity, everybody. But for real,
no disrespect to the Perfect Dark fan. I just selfishly was like, I wanted like a new IP, the hashtag just one, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So when I did hear it Perfect, I was like, oh, all right. I was just with Mike, bro. Mike, like that's how I felt. I was like, I was throwing my A's up. I was like,
it will be really exciting.
It will come.
Yeah, I mean, you got this big studio, like you said. This is going to be the crown jewelers. That's what it was touted as, right? Is this my next coalition? Is this something where we're going to look around and show them that they're going to be industry leaders? And it looks like they have the talent. And yeah, Perfect Dark. I mean, for me, I'm a kid who grew up on the N64. I actually liked Perfect Dark more than GoldenEye. I know that's a hot, spicy take for you. For some people, they don't get over that. Yeah. But I even played a lot of Perfect Dark Zero when it came out to Xbox 360. And so now you look at it, right? And we look at this big blockbuster cinematic. Yeah, it's not third person. I know it's first person, but third person action adventure, story driven RPG that we always throw around, right? It's like, well, now that we bring up Perfect Dark, what is this, right? Is this just going to be a single player campaign? Are we doing the full Perfect Dark spectrum? Because that is co-op and that is multiplayer. And man, oh man, over here on Xbox, we got a lot of first-person co-op multiplayer shooters. I got plenty of those. Preach. So how does this one differentiate itself and be that crown jewel, that game of the generation, as I see in the chat right now? Because I got Wolfensteins, I got Dooms, I got Halos, I got Gears of War. I got enough of that. This game better be big, you know?
Yes.
Talk, Mike.
There's your sauce. There's your sauce.
That's the sauce tonight. Why can't I say what Mike just did and not get flagged? Because that's the demand you should make. It comes from that.
But you know what
Perfect Dark has so much against it because it's that. So it has to be special. It has to be good. Don't even give me an 80 meta and I'm happy nonsense with Perfect Dark. It has to smash. It has to smash. This conversation, man. Gaming Forte, shout out to Gaming Forte, man. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It was great conversation, gentlemen. Okay, at least you appreciate it. I'm just happy to hear Gaz's opinion, not at 5 a.m. Great to see
you. Though, when we all in that party chat, Gaz gonna be like, damn, we on too late. Hey, UK time.
Shout out to Forte.
Shout out to Forte.
How do you think I feel? I come into the party and I just feel like a leper because all the numbers gone.
All right, guys, Gaz.
Is this the price of the sauce?
No.
No, thank you. Great to see my S-Ray Destiny Bro Cog and Mike on the show. Thank you so much, man. It means a lot. Danny Passion Official, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. As a director of photography, this partnership sounds amazing. 4 of those who are mentoring Avengers Initiative already have the vision of the game, not Crystal Dynamics. Hopefully you're right. Dan Lazaro, aka Xbox Nation, aka hashtag no Vaseline, chats. Gaz, you are annoyed all the time. Go outside. Dan, I know what you're like, bro. Xbox could be slapping you on the head and you're like, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Shout out to Dan. Me and Eve go back and forth. So Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark's gonna smash. I say it's gonna smash. I'm not saying it's gonna crash. Ace has just put a poll out there. I still think it's gonna smash. I'm hoping it's gonna smash. I don't know why I voted that. Too early, prematurely. I don't know. But thanks for that poll.
I'm gonna put it out there. Here's your 5 years prediction early, too early on this one. 78 on Metacritic. That's what it will come out. 78. I'm hoping for something big, but we'll just have some fun with it.
Doing that 78. Let's go.
Oh man, if I said that, oh my god. Yeah. So hopefully it's good chat though, because we're getting a mixed opinions and it's all up in the air. I think the consensus is, Jensen, correct if I'm wrong, we just need a little bit more information, surely now, to see what's going on, and there might be greater things in the works. All of this makes it very, very exciting. It's been a big week for games, mostly because also for me personally, finally, after thinking I was going to be relegated to the sidelines again, I finally got into the Halo Infinite multiplayer fighting, and we've all, I assume, all of us here have been playing that and had the pleasure of playing Halo Infinite's multiplayer fighting. Cognito, tell me you've been swimming in the source on Halo, and what do you think about the game? Or its early form of it?
Bro, it's one of those things, man. It's like you don't know how much you miss something until you play it again, and you just it's been so long, and it just comes back to you, and it's like, why do I love this franchise? What? Everything about it, the tight gunplay, the map control, the balance, and we said it before earlier. We were lucky to have shout out to Patrick Wren for 343 on our ILP, multiplayer design. Come before the initial flight, we have to all admit the expectation level for Halo probably wasn't the highest, right? And I think what happened was, I'm still going to stand on it. I feel the multiplayer team really saved and drove the enthusiasm through the roof once people got a chance to put their hand on it. And it started initially with the training mode. I started initially with the bots because, I know the hardcore guys don't necessarily care for that, but people have to understand this thing's going free to play. And there's going to be a huge audience this is going to be their first Halo game, right? And you don't want those guys to get pub stomped and then be like, look, I'm good, right? So just getting the confidence up with the bots, getting the confidence up with the shooting range, getting a feel of the weapons, how they work, what they do. I thought that was a great start. And this flight has been fantastic, man. I've had great experiences, fragging with the homies and stuff like that. And it's just so smooth. It's silky. It reminds me of how balanced and how fun Halo can be. And now I'm like, I got to stop myself because I'm like, I want to play this too much and I got to wait. And the only thing I want to do now is my big team battle. I just want to see how that's going to be for the next one. But I put a timeout on myself because I'm like, okay, this is home. This is baby. I got my, I'm saying? I got the VR. I got the new jacket. I love it. Everything about it has been a phenomenal experience. But I'm curious what you guys how's your flighting experience been?
Yeah, well, Mike, you were probably playing it before you came onto the show. We unfortunately pulled you away from Halo Infinite. What do you think? What are your impressions of what you've played so far?
Yeah, I went pretty wild this week on the Kind of Funny Xcast. I am the biggest Halo guy over on that team at Kind of Funny and on the Xcast. So I'm really jazzed up about this, and I'm trying to keep my feet on the ground and stay a little grounded because we got to wait till we finally get to December 8th before I can go wild. But as of right now, I'm having a ton of fun, right? And I think that first flight really showed that this team is putting a lot of love and care into this game and getting us really excited. And I have been in a gaming hole since that flight left us, right? Nothing has brought that kind of fun. And I'm a huge multiplayer and first-person shooter guy. So, I'm playing games in and out. And what they're doing over at 343 is something really, really special. And what I'm loving to see is what Lord Cognito just brought up, and that is the academy and how we can get new players in and learn and feel comfortable, right? And what I love seeing right now is Battlefield's doing the same thing with their bot matches and how people can learn how to play and jump in. Because I'll tell you what, I have had a lot of frustration over the past couple of years trying to get my friends that aren't truly first-person shooter, cracked out of their minds, sweaty 13-year-olds to play these games with me. Because we jump into a Call of Duty lobby and you just get murdered nonstop, right? We jump into Warzone, you die and the game is over. You go into Apex, you die right away, you can't play anymore. And so to see these devs go, hey, how do we peel this back? How do we add another layer is really impressive. And of course, I'm sure you all read the latest Inside Infinite blog post. I'm sure you saw the big old live stream. What the team is doing with the academy is a big deal and something that should be touted and really celebrated because they're coming out with an awesome multiplayer suite, right? The Academy is going to have a tutorial. It's going to have weapon drills, and it's going to have training mode where you would live during the game and switch up the bot levels. You can switch up the guns you have. You can switch up to infinite ammo so you don't have to reload. You can turn on where other bots are, and you can see them through the map. You don't have to die. And it's like, hey, you're doing a great job at getting people interested and engaged in this. Because when you come and see me, right, Lord Cognito knows I am teabagging people. I am playing to win at all times. Like me and my crew, we don't. It's funny because people keep saying, "Oh, this is such a great social experience," and people are having fun being together. It's like, I'm not that. We're calling things out. I'm trying to win at all times. Like I haven't asked Lord Cognito how his day is in 3 hours because I'm like, if you don't get that BR, I'm going to murder you, homie. And so, it's a special one for me because now I can get my girlfriend, my mom, my dad involved. And that's what really matters. And so we're getting blessed with a big fall here, right? Halo, Call of Duty, and Battlefield. Like I'm in a first-person shooter's dream. It almost reminds me when we had Titanfall, Battlefield, and Call of Duty a long time ago. And we know one of those three didn't get the proper love it deserved, unfortunately. And that fell off the side of the map. But this is really exciting to see 3 heavyweights come into the fold and see what's going to happen. It's going to be great.
I'm kind of nervous for like your relationship with your girlfriend and your dad.
Oh my! Yeah, I know.
What are you doing? What is this game?
We have made a rule in my house that we cannot play Moving Out or Overcooked together because somebody takes things a little too seriously, and it might be me. It's a bad one.
I think we all guessed it was going to be you. Asa, you've had a chance to play this. I want to know your thoughts. Also, this point about that Mike raised about the Academy. So I'll be honest, me and my friend Dean were talking about it. And my view is it's good that you're doing it because it's free to play. You've got all these new people playing. But there's no substitute for learning on the field. So whatever you learn on the bots stuff, but they're going above and beyond the call here, so I guess can't complain. But then part of me was like, stop talking about it. Because that's the saucy bit. I'm like, okay, all these guys are going to get wrecked as soon as they come in the lobby anyway. But what's your take on that? Am I just being a prick? And also, what's your take on the multiplayer impressions of so far, what you played?
So I've not played enough because the times are actually pretty harsh for us in the UK. And I've got my wife's away this weekend. So I've got kids to look after when the windows are on. So I managed to play a couple of 10 minutes games today. I played a little bit yesterday. Yesterday I played on the Xbox. And I'm awful. I need the Academy. I can't use a controller. I was just so bad. Today I had to go on the PC instead, and I had a great time with it. I was got a real good clutch play in a capture the flag match. I don't know how long capture the flag was running. I only saw one game of it. I was in overtime, and I just grabbed their flag on the little marketplace one and leap down and smack their flag carrier in the head, leg it back, and get the overtime win. And it was like, this is the best game. I'm having fun, and I'm not used to it with the keyboard and mouse. But I mean, it's Halo, and I've said for a long time, it's obviously going up against Call of Duty, which is, I don't know, shooting itself in the feet at the moment, and Battlefield, which is a very different game. And Battlefield is still, to me, the more impressive, but Halo the more fun and the one that I want to play. I've been saying that for months. Spending a bit of time with Halo, I definitely still feel that. It's just the movement, it's like, it's weighty and everything's just right. It feels great, and you can tell they've put like thought into every detail of the balancing. And I'm having a good time with it. The Academy and stuff, it's been, I think the first one to try and ease people into playing games was actually the first Titanfall, where they acknowledged that it's hard for people to go into a game as a new player and just get rinsed. So we're going to put this fodder on the map so that you can still feel like you're like the boss, even though you're terrible. And you've seen like little attempts since then. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that Halo are doing it. As long as it doesn't train people to beat me, I still want some people I can shoot. So.
I really love that you brought up the mouse and keyboard really quick because I have been a guy who I was a diehard controller player all the way through everything. And now this past year and a half during COVID, I have sat down hard with my mouse and keyboard and have really come accustomed to that. And I got to give a lot of love to this team over at 343 for building this game from the ground up with PC and mouse and keyboard in mind. Like, I don't know how many times you've tried to plug in a mouse and keyboard into your either Xbox or you've played Master Chief Collection mouse and keyboard. It doesn't feel good. No matter what you say, it doesn't feel as good as what this does. And so they've made great strides into making this really PC accessible, and that's awesome.
It's great to see.
So you're talking about connecting a keyboard and mouse.
Oh, I'm
to
talking
your
about any
Xbox
mouse and keyboard play with Halo has never been this tight, never been so refined. It's so good right now. It's great.
Yeah, I was watching Jack Fragg's play. I couldn't even tell the difference. It was like until I saw the key prompts and it was like the F to play. What else? Oh, he's actually playing on keyboard and mouse. They looked really smooth. That's a good point. And I was playing with a good set of friends, Mokwama, Ainsley from Season Gaming yesterday.
He's a
Times
beast.
are not. Oh yeah, he's a beast. Me and him were playing, going. He was playing better than me. He also made a good point. He brought to my attention the accessibility options. One of them was to change the colors of the silhouettes of your enemy and your team. But it doesn't just do that. It changes the menu color. It changes the mini-map color. It changes everything. I was like, these guys, you're getting it for free. And this game has a suite of options that fully fledged multiplayer full-price games do not have. They're leading the charge. I'm so thoroughly impressed by what I played. Movement was so smooth. I love movement in games. So when they say slow and movement is exact, I'm like, I don't know what they will do here. But here, it feels fast, nimble. The anti-sprint squad in Halo will actually be happy because of the way they handle. I don't get.
Oh my god! I have upset that beehive so much. I want everybody to know I'm somebody who loves Halo from back in the day, but I also understand what modernization is, and when we move to the future, you have to continue to add things like sprints, like mantle. I understand you're a purist, but you need to understand there's a large market out there that doesn't like that. They play Call of Duty, there's slide, there's sprint. You have to add that to the game to make it relevant. And another one, I mean, don't get the people started on battle royales, because if you spring up new age controls and you bring in battle royales, people freak out. So I'm the bad guy in that situation, because people hate when I bring it up. I'm always the bad guy, and I like it. Decepticons for life.
But it's true. And the sprint, the clamber, everything was amazing.
ADS.
Smooth. It took me a while.
How dare they put ADS?
And they put ADS.
I want the purity of the old experience.
It's like, shut up, man.
Bro.
Go play Halo Master Chief Collection if that's what you want. We want to take it forward, and it's so good. But I have to say, it's so good. Like, I give 343 a lot of flack, as people know, but I commend them. If you can do multiplayer, Halo 5 proved to me they were good. When they did the multiplayer right, I was like, okay, that's not easy. And I always say, everyone caps for Sony and their PlayStation games and single player games. To me, they're always easier to do those linear games. Getting multiplayer right is so hard. There's so many facets to get right. But with 343, what they've done with Halo Infinite is amazing. The way it plays amazing. I am dying to play a big team battle. It's screaming. It will take over. It will pull me away from Apex Legends, and that says a lot. Shout out to Marquana. What? Oh my god, you want to bring the sauce? He goes, thank you so much for the super chat. He goes, I want Gaz to look straight into the camera after loving what he played, because he heard me crying with love about it. And still say, delay Halo Infinite. Let me clarify something. Let me clarify something. So I've been in the delay Halo Infinite. So after playing it, let me just say, delay Halo Infinite, man. Delay the shit out. Why do you think my view would change if the gameplay was good? It's still a feature, man. It's a feature. In fact, playing it and how impressed I was like, please delay the game, because I want it to release fully featured. Everything's banging. The multiplayer looks like it's gonna bang. I want it to do well. That's why I want it to delay. Co-op being there day one with the campaign, with the AI is gonna be mad. Have you played the AI? This is the first time, my first flighting. I put it on Spartan, hardest difficulty. I would have a Spartan bot as opposed to Asa and my team any day. Sorry, Asa, but I need a positive KD ratio.
He owned it.
He owned it. No, but honestly, I will not check. People are like, hey, but you said delay the game. Of course, it has nothing to do with the two things. people think that because I'm critical of 343 means I'm hating on Halo. I have from day said campaign gameplay was mad. I was on RDX defending Halo saying it was mad. The graphics were crap. Gameplay was mad. And now I am stunned by it. I cannot wait for it, but I still wait for it. Delay for 3 months.
Stand on your square, bro. Stand on your square.
But it's fine. But it gives me confidence though.
Would you be all right if they split the release? They did multiplayer December 8th. They put off campaign until February. You okay with that?
No.
You want all one package. All right.
I want it all in one package because, and then people will critique me for this, but I also really do care about the optics of how things are perceived for 343 and Halo. I'm very vested in that. Don't ask me why. It's fanboyism, whatever. But if you do splinter that and release it like that, then Halo doesn't stand a chance. Halo already has it against it, Mike. Let's be honest. When the reviews come out, it's going to be judged on a standard that's Halo. And it's very unfair or unfair. That's a different argument. But it has it stacked against it. When you do that, it's not going to... it's going to give people excuses. Just like
I get it too. And like I said, I'm a big first-person multiplayer guy, right? We look at Call of Duty, who ships with a full product every single year. And as Asa said, right, there's other stuff going on. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the game right now. The game every single year ships fully, ready to go with everything in there, right? And then you got Battlefield, who doesn't have a campaign this time, right? They're going to go multiplayer only for $70. And then you have Halo here, who has taken a whole year of delay. They're not going to ship as a full product, right? There's a lot of conversation here, and they're going to miss out on the Game of the Year awards, which means next year they'll be judged like that. And unfortunately, Halo, even if it's banging, Gaz, will probably fall in the camp of what Hitman 3 is right now.
Yeah.
Not on everybody's radar anymore, which that game should be Game of the Year. That game deserves a lot of credit. And people have just forgotten about Hitman 3, which is so sad to see. And that's what happens to these games in that Q1, January through March. People just forget about them. And it's like, put some respect on Hitman 3. Put some respect on that game, y'all.
For sure. Yeah, couldn't have said it better, Mike. I mean, I'm with you on that. I understand, Gaz, exactly. We got killed on Defining Duke for having a hashtag, delay Halo at one point, because at the end of the day, it's like there's nothing wrong with wanting a completed product. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if the team does need additional time to get the Forge mode, if the team does need additional time, because I'll be honest, like, I was heartbroken that campaign co-op is not available at launch. That is something historically I have done every Halo game. I had to really look back. I've never played a Halo game initially on release without friends. Crank that bad boy up to legendary and let's try to rock out. You know what I'm saying? Get started, all that popping. So I understand it. Of course. Now, I'm not wishing anything bad on Halo. Of course, if it comes out December, I'm going to play it. I'm not going to I'm not going to play it until, But no, we ain't doing that. We going to play it. But at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong. That's why I'm riding with you on this, guys, with wanting a complete product, especially one with the prestige and iconic nature that Halo is. You want to treat that thing with respect. So I'm with you on it. We'll take the sauce. Bring them my way. I like to be anyway.
It's rough in the sauce. You wanted the sauce lane. It's not all smooth sailing, but I'm grateful that you said that, and I'm grateful you understand. That's where it comes from, position, passion, and also I really care about campaign co-op. It's not a red herring, but but it's interesting. Thanks for the super chat, Mo.
Paris in the building. What's up?
Shout out Raider Blade with the £2 super chat. Watching Halo Fly, and PS gamers are loving it. Most are. And again, another super chat. So he saw PlayStation podcasters streaming that for 3 hours, having fun. It's going to be very hard to downplay how good that game looks. Yeah. And hey, Raiden again. It says Halo slowly silencing the haters. Yes, it is. It just definitely is. And wait till Big Team Battle comes out. I think that's going to crazy. Raiden Blade, oh my god, Gaz, you're loving it. I'm happy for you. Of course I am. I'm the biggest Halo fan. I really comes from a position I want it to do well, but people assume that it comes from a irrational hatred. It's not. It's an irrational love for Halo. So yeah, no, this game very positive. It's looking very good. Although I have to say, gents, it's end of September. We still haven't seen anything of the campaign. Are you a little bit worried about that, Mike? Is that something you want to see more?
I am. a little nervous, right? I think there was some leaks previously, and if you had gone through those leaks, there was a lot of positivity around that with regarding to the story and what we're going to see here with Chief and Cortana and the gang, which got me very excited. You know, I jumped into those to read up on, and I'm questioning what's going on, right? We talked about Monday Night Football happening 3 weeks ago, right? The kickoff of the NFL season. That's a lot of eyes. You would think that a Halo campaign would be there, right? That would be a great location to put a commercial, maybe 90 seconds of Chief and Cortana or something, right? And we haven't seen any of that. And does that make me worried? I mean, we know that this team has had a lot of work, especially with COVID, has changed the landscape. And we know developers are struggling and trying to overcome that. So this game could be coming in very hot with what's going on with the campaign regarding that. And you know what? We're going to see it as it comes in. But I am surprised that we are a month, 2 months away from this and just sitting here waiting for some sort of campaign. But they're doing a good job at staying out in the presence of everybody, talking about it, being open and honest. And these flights, I think, are going a long way. If we didn't have these flights, we would be probably putting the pressure on of like, let's talk Chief, let's talk story. The flights get everybody silenced. They focus on that. So that's a big key right now.
That's a good point. That's a great point. I think that I didn't really think about that. Those flightings are kind of, because until I raised it, I didn't really think about it as well. The campaign pressure has been eased off tremendously because of these flighting things. Mike mentioned the fact that it's coming in hot. You know, Joseph's Staten's come in to steer most likely the narrative direction of this game, because the game's narrative direction is important for the next 10 years. Apparently, this is a games as a service. Part of me is worried because that is, if there's room there, because it's a game as a service, there's an excuse possibly that 343 can leave this on a cliffhanger or something like that. Are you worried about that? How do you think Halo Infinite's story should end? Not specifics, but how do you think?
This is a good question. And let me start off by saying I actually love that Staten is brought in, because ex-Bungie guy, you know, he's been there from the beginning. You know, he has the DNA of what Halo should be. So I do like when they brought him in and they started to kind of, I don't want to say reorg, but, you know, direction shift and tighten focus, right? As far as the campaign is concerned. So I like that aspect. I'm with you guys. I'm not necessarily thrilled when I hear that. Shout out to Mr. Matty Play, because we talked about it, is, you know, when the verbiage, well, this is a game as a service, and these things tend to be added later. You know what I mean? That type of verbiage doesn't sit well with me in terms of complete product, in terms of campaign. Because
why is that actually, Cog? Because you like Destiny, and that's piece of sorry.
Hey, watch your mouth. But look, as a Destiny fan, right? You know, even at one point, Bungie was in that bag, and it doesn't sit well with me necessarily. As much as I love that game, great. You know, I love it. You know how I feel about Destiny. You know, it's not going to sit well to the consumer that you can kind of launch something coming in hot and then add as you go, you know, a la carte, and put this here and put that there, right? I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying doom and gloom. I'm not saying the game is terrible. I'm just telling people what the optics look like for someone that's like, okay, you delayed this game 1 year already. So to me, what was the state of it when the Xbox Series X was going to launch?
Very valid question.
Right. Now, what has saved them, and again, I will be remiss, got to shout out to homie scene director Patrick Wren, who came on IOP. I literally tell him these flights and how great the multiplayer has been has kind of saved and give us this illusion that we're not talking about the campaign anymore right now. And that's great. Kudos to them. But I think, there's still questions, you know, about it. I like Mike said, I did see those leaks, Mike, and about the, you know, story. So I'm confident in the direction of the actual campaign and the Chief story and Cortana and all. I'm excited about that stuff.
You've seen the leaks and then you're excited about it? I haven't seen anything.
That. Yeah, I've seen it. And the thing is, just comes down to...
And you're excited about it?
No, I'm excited. I am excited. I'm definitely excited about it.
That's good.
The thing, to your question, the ultimate question is how it ends, right? Because the thing that bothered me about 5 was the way it ended. Like, it's like I did, look at Mike rolling the eye. Mike, no. We was marketed one thing, and we got something completely different. Like, I was in E3 forgot which E3 it was, when the marketing campaign was going on for Halo Infinite with Locke versus Chief, and the conquering hero and the Chief under and the statue. None of that was in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that.
I know, man.
Yeah, bro. I was very hard on them in that respect. So to me, I would like, whether we call it games of service, I would like a good conclusion and continuation of the Master Chief saga. Don't cliffhanger me all the time, kind of bit. And that's what they're going to have to do. The campaign to me is the most pressure, because I believe if they knock that out the park, man, this thing is it's really going to go to the moon. You know what I mean? If Halo's campaign is, let's be honest, we're confident that this multiplayer is going to be solid. Yeah. Let's be real. It's not too much, they can mess up, besides, the Master Chief Collection situation.
So stability and
stability issues aside, this should be solid. But if the campaign hits, now we talk about the great pantheon of Halo games we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's
exactly what we were saying yesterday. Yeah. Exactly. That's it. That's the only, apart from co-op, which I won't like lyrical about, but if the campaign hits and smashes in the way it ends, it's going to be, if Halo hits, and people say they don't care about Metacritic, if it hits 90, just 90, not 89, 90 plus, that's a big thing. Big thing for Xbox, big thing for Halo. It's huge. And really does stand a chance of that. Shout out to Paris in the chat. Paris, why are you not following me? Why can I not slide into your DMs? When are you coming on the show despite saying you're coming on the show? Where are you? I'm going to put you out there. So just come follow me. Just follow me. You have to follow me. Can't be throwing he chucks shots at us but doesn't join the source. You have to come join us.
Salute to Paris. Salute to homie. That is the homie.
He said Snowbike Mike and Lord Cog. Completely forgot that me and Ace exist here. But thank you so much, Paris. Mad love for you. Oh man. Stefan Selby, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Every week I watch this, you make me want Halo more. Thank you. See, why do I get hate? Stefan is getting his hyped. I'm doing 343's job for them. Hire me, 343. Getting him hyped. Raiden, we need a Halo 5 director's cut to fix the story. Please don't do that. Oh, Hogreet, sorry, Hogreet. Come on, please don't do that. Please don't do that, 343. Don't get any ideas of director's cuts just because Sony can get away with it. Please don't do that, 343. Hoggy, yeah, great point. Hey, Raiden, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Can we be clear? 343i is Bungie. Bungie leadership left at 343 was already there. Question, how many developers stayed at 343 and how many left with them? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if you do know, gents. Just don't know. All I know is Halo 4 had a shit multiplayer, Halo 5 had a shit. Huh?
It was taken to be about half and half, but that's not an accurate count by any stretch.
Okay. So somewhere about then. Yeah, I mean, the leadership is always key. And that's what Raiden Blade with his next super chat. Leadership has always been the problem. I'm not saying the leaders. I don't want to call out particular leaders. I don't like doing that. I think shout out to Bonnie Ross and the team. This is not easy to take this mantle of responsibility with Halo. It's not easy. Maybe it is a leadership problem though. Ideally, you're vicariously liable if you're the leader there. You take the hit. But I do think if there is a problem, I think there are problems. It may be the leadership thing, which may be resolved now. Halo's looking strong, looking very strong, very, very strong. Multiplayer-wise, it's killing it. So let's end on a positive note. Halo Infinite looks set to reclaim its past glory. And this is a very early indication from very early plays of what we've had. But let's see. Just very quickly. So we had Kana Bridge of Spirits got released this week. Shout out to Ember Lab doing what big AAA studios struggle to do and making this as an indie outfit of 20 people, delivering one of the best looking games I've seen. And just wanted to get your views on it because it's done relatively well on, I think it's like an 80 something on Metacritic. Mike, have you played Kana Bridge of Spirits? And are you, or if you haven't, is this something that's catching your eye?
I have not. I do know that the team over at Kinda Funny have reviewed it over on the PlayStation side, and we're all very high on it. Really enjoyed what they did. I got to partake in a 3-hour live stream though with one of our coworkers, Andy Cortez, where I wrote alongside of him. And I got to tell you, if I didn't sit there and watch the 3 hours, I probably wouldn't have been as excited as I am now for this game.
Okay.
I know it was beautiful when we first saw it. I was pumped up, but there's so many games right now. This is an easy one for me to just let slip into the backlog and not play at all. But after sitting through for the first 3 hours of this game and seeing the combat, the beauty, the cutscenes, and the story that's taking place, I'm into it. So yeah, it's on my radar. I have downloaded it, and it will definitely be something I play over the holidays.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Cog? Because this game looks Pixar level to me, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You playing this?
I am not. I'm actually in the same boat as Mike. The only reason why is because I have to be a responsible website owner at LordsOfGaming.net. We spoke to the people of Ember, and I've got my editors on it, so they're reviewing it right now. Okay. And we want them to take their time, because they definitely got a little later. But look, all accounts have been positive. The vibe I get when I watch it and taking a look at a lot of the press stuff is that it feels like an indie studio that is truly punched above their weight with like this AAA start level of graphical fidelity. It's truly a beautiful game. From a mechanic standpoint, I would say it's kind of simplistic. I'm not seeing anything like super complicated with it, but you look, for their first outing, this is really impressive, and I like to see that kind of stuff. I'm always going for the little guy, kind of punch him up, like hanging with the AAA space. And the reviews have been, somewhat positive, on Metacritic and stuff like that. So I'm going to give the team some more time with it. They asked me if, I want to do impressions. I rather them take it through the gamut, and then instead of rushing out something just for the sake of the clicks and stuff like that. So that's where we're at with it, man. But it looks good. Initial impressions are strong.
Yeah, definitely. And you made a good point there, Asa, that for initial first impressions, I can't imagine Ember Lab will remain the size they are. Any studios are they're licking their lips looking at these guys saying you guys are supremely talented. What do you think about the game? Have you played it, Asa?
I can add very little to what's already been said because no, I also haven't played it. I did.
We all three.
None of us have. I bought it. I haven't played it.
Yeah, I bought it and then refunded it because I bought it on the PC and then I did a quick search and it says the PC version doesn't support HDR. So I was like, right, instant refund if I'm going to get more out of the PlayStation version. HDR, but I haven't got round to getting the PlayStation.
He's so bougie with HDR.
No, it's because I
there's little monocle there.
It's not even that. It's
Where's your juice?
For my own benefit.
Show us a drink.
No. I was going to, but then I realised I'm not that obedient. No. I'm planning to play it, right? Yeah. So I think anyone, just looking at that trailer, you can see it's a beautiful game. Like you say, you can see that studio massively talented. Even if the game had tanked, if people had picked it up and gone, whoa, it looks nice, but I'd rather, I don't know, lick a fish or something. I don't know what to say. If it was a terrible game, you'd still be able to identify talent from that studio, at least from a couple of them. But as it happens, it's not a terrible game. Also, the reviews say I haven't played it. All the best to them, and I'll get around to it as soon as I can. There's just so many games and so little time.
Preach, brother, preach.
Shout out to Sir Monte Carlo, who says, great show, guys. Love Cognito. Gas is what he said. I know who he is. Shout out to you, Carlos, you crazy guy. He says, Forza Horizon 5 is going to kill it. It will be game of the year, but not at Geoff Keighley's show. And he calls him a name. No, Carlos, no. We only do that on WhatsApp. Oh man, come on, man. Geoff Keighley is obviously going to be is going to be Death Stranding. The director's edition is going to win in his game of the year. I'm playing. Shout out to Geoff Keighley, who you give shade to him, but he was rocking those Giuseppes in his show really badly, but he held a great show. Shout out to him. What were you wearing, Geoff? Why Giuseppe's with those tight trousers? Anyway, I digress.
Hold on. I wasn't saying it. Shout out to Geoff Keighley. What is that? Shout out to Geoff Keighley, who has done a really fun job at elevating the gaming space throughout all of these presentations. with
That's
the
what I
Game
meant to say.
Awards, with all these kickoff events. Like, he's a fun time. And you're out here attacking the man's outfit. The dude is comfy, casual. He embodies what a gamer wants to be. The man is not coming out here like Don Magic trying to sell me a car or anything like that, all right?
Yeah.
Give the man some credit. He's just trying to be comfortable out there.
And we gotta give Geoff his flowers, guys. Come on, man. Like at the end of the day,
I rate him.
As a
I
gamer,
have the same Giuseppes as him. But I would not wear those. The assembler didn't work. That assembler didn't work. I would just take his dress sense.
Leave the man fashion alone. What we're going to talk about is what he does for the industry. And let's be honest, he gives us our Oscars. Like as gamers, we have the Oscars now. Like we got
100%.
So you know what I'm saying? Ease off the fashion.
No, yeah, okay, I won't use up the fashion, but I will
you can't let it go. I love that.
That was a bad dress up, but and I will say this, and me and Carlos actually argue about this. That's not the Giuseppes. You clearly don't know what Giuseppes are. Gold, black shoes with gold accents. This year he did those. I don't know which the events, but he really is. You have to give him a shout out because. To me, it's criminal that gaming didn't have an event like this, and it's super. Let's be honest, it's taken over Hollywood. It took over Hollywood years ago. Geoff Keighley made that happen. Say what you want game reveals in a show, but he brought the glitz and glam that gaming deserves and more. And he gives you the game reveals. And you got the Xbox Series X being revealed on his show. Come on, man. Can't be ungrateful. But you can't make fun of his fashion sense. I know, because people make fun of me.
I'll let you get away with that. I'll let you get away with that. All right. But no, keep the respect on it. Right. And, yeah, I think a lot of people got mad with like the Chic Hydro Man and all the ads. And it's like, it takes money to make all these happen, right? And you get a sponsorship like that, you do it. But man, oh man, I've loved the progression over the past 2 years of all of the elevations that he's done at this, right? And we knew the Game Awards were great, but like now to make opening live a spectacle, something you want to see, right? Something that is tight and fun. Like this E3 presentation, that was a good time, regardless of what people thought. Like that was a solid hour and a half of just fun times. Gaming brought us all together, and that's what we missed, not having E3 live or anything like that. Like now here it is. Hey, here's the spectacle. We're all coming together. We get to celebrate games. And Geoff and his team continue to do that. And so, like, shout out to that guy for figuring it out, right? I know not many people can. And a lot of these companies, like we saw, right? It's like, hey, I'm pulling out of E3, or like, we'll do our state of plays whenever the hell we want. We don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, I like that he kept it, right? Of like, hey, here's this week. Let's stay together here. And that means a lot to me as a gamer, because I do love seeing the gaming world come together. It's awesome. It
is. And his show was better than Microsoft E3 this year, in my opinion. So shout out to Geoff. And onwards and upwards, man. We have to support the people who actually elevate it. It's very easy to hate on it, irrespective of their poor fashion choices. No, so Nintendo Direct. We move on. I'll play with you, Geoff. Nintendo Direct. That happened. And I just want to wrap up the show on just what we saw, because couple of oddities here, which surprised me. One, not an oddity. Bayonetta 3 got a reveal trailer, and that looks pretty good, which makes me. I wanted to kind of just turn that around. Everyone just can make their own minds up on how good or bad the game looks. I think it looks good. Mike, I look at that and I just think, can you imagine what they would do with Bayonetta if they had better hardware? Because. Yeah,
you read it right out of my mind. That's the issue, is I just can never get excited for the Nintendo Switch and what Nintendo offers if it's not their first party cartoony looking games, right? Because you look at this, you're like, man, this looks cool. You know what Bayonetta franchise is. It's wild in your face, Devil May Cry, wild spectacle stuff. And it's like, I see this and I'm like, how can I get excited? They show me off Dragon or Monster Hunter, the last one that came out, and it's like, how can I get excited about this when we were just running 4K 60 on Monster Hunter World on the Xbox, and it was incredible looking, right? And so to each their own, but I watch these and I'm like, I just can't get excited unless it's the super cartoony Mario that you just like, you play all the time. But this, I just can't do it. I can't do it. You read my mind.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's interesting take, Cog. You're giggling there. What is your take on all of that? Do you share Mike's sentiments about that? That this is aging hardware is kind of showing it's getting a bit old now.
You know what it is? I think the Switch for me initially represented a nice change because I was like, okay, they kind of have hardware that is at least comparable to the last generation. This is like, the PS3 and 360 and that kind of stuff, and then can semi punch above its weight. But as the generation is going on, like you guys have said, these things are starting to show its age, right? They start to show, the difference and stuff like that. But I got to be honest, like I was coming into the show very negative, like, all right, what are they going to do? That's that kind of thing. Because I'm going to be honest, like I'm team Steam Deck right now. Like to me, 100%. Steam Deck is what they need to be doing. So I'm like, I got my Steam Deck pre-ordered. Like Switch is kind of, and I'm a Switch gang, but I'm like, it was kind of on the way out because I'm like, this is the thing I want to do. So they had a couple of things for me that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hold on to you. I can get you off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So they had a couple of things for me. I did like Metroid Dread. I thought that really played well. I thought it looked phenomenal.
Looks good.
You know what I mean? They had a couple of third-party games that I got to give them credit, which is I think the Dying Light, them embracing cloud technology is very forward-facing. I affectionately call them Grandpa Nintendo. Grandpa don't usually do things like that.
Grandpa.
So when you see Grandpa outside in the club, like doing new things, I was like, okay, Grandpa, you out here with your little cloud, okay? You know what I'm saying?
They can't even do internet right, but they do cloud.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They finally got blue. He got his little Bluetooth hat. You know what I mean? Like he was styling, bro.
That's a sick analogy. He's trying. He's trying. Grandpa's trying.
We know
his hemorrhoids stuck to the chair.
We know he ain't gonna never be hip the way we want to be hip. But he do little things here and there, and you be like, all right, cool. But to the whole thing, I just thought like they had a solid show. They had a couple things, for me that I'm like, all right, I'll keep on to it. But it's Nintendo going to Nintendo. And the funny thing about it is, as much as we may complain, as much as they're dominating. They are absolutely dominating, whether it be NPD, hardware sales, software sales, first party, so crazy. Clearly there's an audience that don't care about what I'm talking about. And they're buying multiple of these things. They're buying the Switch OLED, which I don't understand why.
I don't get that.
To each his own. I'm on Team Steam Deck. I mean, and that's what excites me. I want to have a local iteration of Xbox Game Pass on the go. I want graphical fidelity. Huge. So that's where I'm at. But I will say they did enough to say, okay, there's a couple of times. There's one title we got to tie it into Microsoft. Disco Elysium and KOTOR, man. Like those were both announced on the Switch, and I'm like, where's the Microsoft? Disco is a sleeper, bro. And I want to know. Hopefully, they get a version of it. People don't know about that game. It's on PlayStation now. Switch has it. Very high quality game. And I saw the KOTOR, and it got me to thinking about KOTOR remaster. And I'm like, these are Xbox properties. Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So that's just me.
Yeah, definitely. Disco Elysium, I'm playing on my Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm. I know I do the same thing, bro. Elgato and I butcher it all the time. Continue.
Butcher all the time as well. I make fun of it now, unironically keep using the wrong one. But yeah, Disco Elysium. KOTOR, though, that was a slap at the face of Xbox. How would you let that go on PlayStation? You got to fight Xbox. You got to fight. Can't let that stuff happen. But at the same time, it adds to the sauce, so I like it. Anything else in the Nintendo show? Asa, other than the crazy Mario movie, why the hell do we live in this universe where Chris Pratt is playing Mario? I don't know. This is stupid. But what were your highlights of the Nintendo Direct? Did you actually catch it? Because I know how much you love Nintendo.
It's the one thing that I can't pretend on. Like I've said loads of times, and I'm not pretending when I say, you look at like Microsoft and you look at Sony and you look at all the other big third-party publishers, and almost everything that they make, they're making for me personally. Like every game, I'm like, I love that. I want to play that. Apart from 12 minutes, I hated that game. But every other game, I'm like, I love that. I want to play that. Every game is like tailor-made for me. Apart from Nintendo, I don't know. They don't know who I am, and they're not making things for me. They don't care about me, and I don't care about them. Like Mario,
I like this. I like this.
Good luck, Chris Pratt, for like giving Mario a personality, because he was not written with one. Mario has a bold outline for the two color display that he was invented for. He wears blue and red because those colors stand out in a palette that's very limited. Mario has no personality. Good luck with that movie. And that's. I'm not generally negative. Like, I love all the games, but
I love it. Ace is
I
bringing
can't.
the
I can't
sauce right
Nintendo.
now.
I just can't.
Yep. Yeah.
I will say as well, though,
share-
I see the value in Switch gaming on the go. I don't do that because if I try, I'll be sick. I like the only place that I'd play on the go would be on a train, and I just get motion sick doing that. So I understand the value to people that are playing it on the go. I just don't understand the rest of it. Like, as a home console, I don't get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, gents, that wraps up our hour and a half mark, and it's been mad. It's been effortless and saucy from start to finish. Cog, I know you need to go soon as well, but shout out to him. Shout out to Danny Passion Official. Thanks so much for $2 super chat. Thanks for keeping me entertained on my long drive. It's our pleasure. Thank you seriously for tuning in and for the super chat, but mostly for all of you for tuning in. It makes a massive difference. I know Rand's show is there. Please go to his chat after the show ends and throw tomatoes at him. I will do that and when I text him after this. But gents, I hope you had a great time, man. I had a lovely time. I wish we could go on for longer, but this is outro time. I want to know what's in store, because both of you gents have some crazy trajectory of things that you're doing. So as we go out, tell us what is in store for your fans, because you're famous now. Give me your signature. Lord Cognito, can you lead with that? Tell me what's happening with you. What's your intention with first, I pray it's happening, God willing, 10k very soon for the Iron Lords, and then onwards and upwards from that. What's in store for the Lords? What's in store for Last Stand Media?
First of all, before I do all that, gotta shout you out. This is phenomenal. I had a fantastic time. Always love. Yeah, guys brought the sauce today, and I actually like the sauce. Like, normally I police the sauce, but I was like, you know what? This is good sauce. This is the sauce we do need. I was like, I respect this one. Asa is always, a pleasure. Obviously, I have you scheduled, and Mike, man, I want to give Mike his flowers because, on my come up, and he's always been supportive. He's always said nice things, One of my favorite moments, realize is actually jumping in your stream. He's like, "Yo, it's the Iron Lords. I like those dudes." It meant so much. And then obviously the honor, the privilege of being on Kind of Funny XCast. Gary was super spicy that day, and of course the homie Paris. So I want to give you your flowers, brother. I love what you're doing. I love we continue to talk and have this relationship. At one point, I definitely would love you in the realm of ILP. I think it would be dope to deep dive with you. So I am going to shoot my shot. I'm going to do it. But ultimately, look, man, this is super positive as far as me. At Lord Cognito on Twitter. Iron Lord Podcast every Sunday is the Lord's Day, 11 a.m. Eastern. We will be having the brother King Phoenix on, man. We're going to talk about everything that's going on. He's an Xbox ambassador, tremendous representative for LGBTQ plus A. So please check that out, man. It's going to be amazing. And of course, Defining Duke and Xbox Podcast with the amazing Mr. Matty Plays Last Stand Media. Definitely got more big things cooking up. We had recently we broke down the whole thing, what's going on between Marty O'Donnell and Bungie. It's very insightful stuff and lets you know about contract ownership and music ownership. And it's very cool, man. So in contempt of court, I learned about that. and for people who, if you just love Destiny, that crazy game that Gaz hates and always gives me slander. I got the last word with my homie, man, Ebontis, man. So we still been doing that. We brought in Ty Guy Travis from IGN. So we're the Three Musketeers now. We just had Paul Tassi. It was a fantastic debate as far as the competitive PvP community. Come check that out. Just for the debate alone, you need to come check that out. Between the super sweaty guys versus the casual guys. It's that, last but not least, lordsofgaming.net, the home team. And again, much love, guys. When you threw up the bad signal, I try to make it when I can. This is a fantastic show. I always love doing it when I have time.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I'm very, 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 very grateful. And I don't think my quickfire DMs or messages, they belie the depth of how much I'm grateful. And the same goes to you, Mike. Mike, you're part of Kind of Funny XCast. We started a year ago. We're tiny, and you've taken the time, both of you, gents, but especially you as well, Mike, coming with your debut here today. Paris as well, always supporting chat. Shout out to Colt, and as well in the chat, brother from another mother. Thank you so much. But Mike, I hope you had a great time on the show. You definitely brought the sauce. We should do a fusion dance, Dragon Ball Z style, because there's definite synergy there. And tell people, please, where they can find you and what's in store for you in the future, because I know there are things in the works.
Oh, we got a lot going on, but let's first start off. Hey, you two. Thanks so much for having me on today. This has been a blast for a Saturday afternoon, truly and honestly. And that's something that is the power of gaming in this industry that we're in as podcasters, as influencers, as games media, is getting to know each other and share these moments together. And this afternoon, this podcast and this moment, hopefully, will be a great first step into our friendships. And I want you to know that it means the world to me. And, you know, having Cog here really is that comfort factor, Cog. I saw your name and I was like, you know what? I'm ready to do this podcast. And as a quote unquote newbie rookie in the industry, it is really, really cool to make these connections and share these moments with people. Gaming brings us together, and that's what it's all about. I see Colt in the chat, Paris. I talk about Rand and Jez out there, Miles, and there's so many others that, you know, through gaming I've gotten to talk with and be a part of. So first off, you two, thanks for having me on. You guys were really insightful. You brought the energy, you brought the sauce, you brought the balance, which is exactly what I needed always. But as for me, of course, it's your guys, Snowbike Mike. You can find me on all social media platforms at Snowbike Mike. I'm always streaming each and every weeknight and weekend at twitch.tv/Snowbike Mike. But of course, we got to go out there and tell you all about Kinda Funny, because Kinda Funny is an awesome team that you got to know about. If you love video games, if you love entertainment, Kinda Funny has your back. You can be caught up with all of the news you need to know about in the video game space each and every weekday with Kinda Funny Games Daily, where Greg Miller helms that alongside Blessing Adeoye Jr. and so many awesome, incredibly talented people. You have the PS I Love You XOXO podcast all about PlayStation, the Games Cast with Tim Geddes, and of course the Kinda Funny X Cast. If you love Xbox, hang out with me, Gary, and Paris each and every Friday. We'll tell you all about it. And then of course, as we move forward, the big thing is January. Kinda Funny Day in January will be the kickoff of our brand new state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line studio that is really going to shake up the gaming world. We're so excited to show this off, and this team has put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. This is something that from 2015, when they created it, they've grown from just 4 dudes in the spare bedroom all the way to 11 plus full-time employees and a huge studio that we cannot wait to show off. So I'm happy to be a part of that team, and I'm excited as all can be to have some fun with all of you. So thanks for having me on. Thanks for inviting me into your homes, and I can't wait to see you again.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much. I'm definitely hyped about to see what this studio looks like. You better do an MTV Crib style kind of like.
Oh, they will. Oh, we will. That's right.
Oh, yeah. That's sick. That's sick. Asa, thank you for joining us. Asa. No, I hope you had a good time as well. Asa, I don't know why do I do this like your third party. You're a co-host. Talk to me. Did you have fun on this show?
Like I said, I was just ignoring you all playing Halo until the end of it. So I think it went all right. You sounded like you were all having fun over there.
You sounded.
No, that was great. These two have carried it, like really good, easy, flowing conversation. Opinions, like there's some intelligence going around the room. It's good to hear. So yeah, it's great Saturday. Thanks both. Not Gaz, no.
No, not me. I'm here for the source. That's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I leave the intelligence to you. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Please hit that like button and share it out. I'm grateful for everyone turning up. Please check out GameOnDaily.com. This is the website where all the gaming news from multiple sources is in one place for you. So please do check that out. Thank you so much. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Check us out on Spotify after the fact and Apple Play. And hopefully see you next week. And the source is being worked. I saw it in the chat. It's coming. It's coming. Peace out.
Peace.